Hello viewers, I hope you are all doing well. Right now on your screen, you can see the official website of AdGuard VPN. As you can see, their website features a very clean and attractive interface. Here on the home page, there is a direct download option. However, instead of exploring this page further, let's head straight to the login section. Once logged in, we are redirected to our account dashboard. Upon entering the account portal, you will notice a side menu with several options: activity, licenses, purchases, and settings. If we look at the Licenses tab, it displays our active subscriptions. Here you can see the license for AdGuard VPN, along with licenses for AdGuard DNS and AdGuard Mail. Next, in the Purchases section, you can find detailed information about your transaction history, including the purchase duration and payment method. Moving on to Settings, you will find various account and security preferences, such as options to manage your email address and password. Additionally, you can see an option for the AdGuard ad blocker on the left menu. You can easily download and install it to enjoy its ad blocking features for free. But our main focus for today's video is AdGuard VPN. I have already downloaded and installed the VPN on my system. If we look at the download section, you can see that AdGuard VPN is available for 5 different platforms. You can install it on Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and even use it as a browser extension. For the browser extension, it is fully compatible with popular browsers like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Mozilla Firefox. Since I currently use both Windows and Android devices, I will be focusing on the Windows version of AdGuard in today's video. In the future, I plan to create a separate video specifically for Android. Looking at the dashboard, we have AdGuard DNS. If you're interested in learning how to use it, please let me know in the comments, and I will make a dedicated video on it next time. Then we have AdGuard Mail, which currently offers a free license. You can upgrade your plan from here or simply click on Install to get the AdGuard Mail app for Windows. Reviewing all of these products in a single video would make it far too long. So, to keep things concise, today's video will focus entirely on AdGuard VPN. I will try to review their other products in upcoming videos. Let's go to the Start menu and open AdGuard VPN app. Once it opens, you can see 5 main tabs at the top of the interface: Home, Exclusions, Stats, Support, and Settings. Let's check out the Stats tab first. This section provides a clear overview of your data usage, showing exactly how much data you have downloaded and uploaded. It also displays your most used locations and most used apps. If you want, you can easily clear this data by clicking on Clear Stats. There is also an option to completely disable stats if you prefer not to track this information. Now let's move over to Settings and open App Settings. Here you have several useful options. First is the app language, which you can change as needed. Next is the kill switch. If your VPN connection drops, this feature will block internet access to protect your privacy. You can toggle this on or off. Below that, you have options for auto update and launch app on system startup. If you want the VPN to start automatically when you turn on your PC, you can enable this. There's also an auto connect on app launch. I personally prefer to keep this off, but you can easily customize these settings according to your own preferences. Next is the Theme section. You have a few options: System Default, Dark Mode, and Light Mode. If you choose System Default, it will automatically sync with your Windows theme. Personally, I prefer Dark Mode because it puts much less strain on the eyes. Scrolling down, there's an option to help improve AdGuard VPN by sending anonymous usage data, which you can leave on or turn off. Finally, let's look at DNS servers. If you click on it, you will see a wide variety of options. You have the default server provided by AdGuard, AdGuard DNS Family Protection, Google DNS, Cloudflare, and several others. If you have a specific preference, you can easily select it from this list or even add your own custom DNS server at the bottom. Next, we have the Advanced settings for expert users. Under this, there's the operating mode, which is currently set to VPN. You can also switch it to a SOC 5 proxy from here if you want.
You can simply click Switch and it will change to SOC 5 mode. However, keeping it in VPN mode is better for me because I mainly use applications, so I'll stick with that. Okay, moving on, the logging level is set to default. Options like export logs and diagnostic data aren't really necessary for everyday use. Then there's the miscellaneous section, where you'll find post-quantum cryptography. If you work with highly sensitive data or cryptography, you might want to turn this on. Next is the AdGuard VPN protocol. You can choose which protocol you want to use here, like HTTP/2 or QUIC. I prefer to keep it on Auto Select, which is the default setting. Okay, you can customize these settings further based on your preferences. For example, there's Use WinTun. You can turn this on to use the WinTun driver to route your traffic through the VPN. I'm going to keep it off for now. Then we have Subnet Exclusions, where you can configure specific subnets to bypass the VPN. Basically, there's a lot you can play around with in these settings. I really like it. It's incredibly useful for advanced users. For those who aren't advanced users, the basic settings are more than enough. There's also the AdGuard blocker section, and honestly, there's nothing much to worry about here. Now, let's head back to the Home tab. Once you're on the home screen, you'll see the server locations listed on the right side. The interface here is absolutely beautiful. I mean, the application's design is just mind-blowing. There's this cool ninja illustration, which I really love. I've been keeping an eye on this VPN for a long time, and honestly, their user interface is so well crafted that it's a real pleasure to use. Right here, there's a circular refresh icon. If you click it, it refreshes the list and brings the countries with the lowest ping to the top. By ping, I mean the locations that will give you the best speed and overall performance. These will appear right at the top under Fastest Locations. Besides that, as you scroll down the list, you'll notice that the locations with green ping indicators currently offer good connection speeds.
These locations can be easily identified from here. Keep in mind that ping times vary and change from time to time. They won't always stay exactly the same, but they do fluctuate like this. So let's go ahead and run a speed test today. We'll start by testing the connection with the Bangkok, Thailand server. As you can see, it connects almost instantly right after clicking on the country. Now, let's head over to hoover.net first to verify our IP and check its overall quality. We can see here that it correctly shows a Thailand IP address, but interestingly, the DNS is pointing to Singapore. The anonymity score, or IP quality here, is at 70%, which honestly I don't really prefer. I feel much more comfortable when it's around 80%, 90%, or even 100%. However, 70% isn't completely terrible. It's borderline acceptable, so it's not too bad. Okay? Alright, let's move on to fast.com and see what the speed situation looks like. Usually we do our speed tests using speedtest.net, but today we are testing it on fast.com to see how it performs. As you can see, it shows Singapore here because it's peering with a Singapore server, while down below it properly displays the client IP as Thailand. The download speed is reaching around 170 to 180 Mbps, and you can see this matches the network speed monitor down here on my taskbar. Okay? Next, let's wait and see what our upload speed looks like. By the way, I will actually try to make a separate, detailed episode specifically analyzing the speeds of various servers. I'll try to cover as many countries as possible so you can get a comprehensive idea. While some people might not find this necessary, for others it is incredibly important. Since buying a premium VPN costs a decent amount of money, many people think that if they are going to make the investment, they should thoroughly check and understand its performance first. Alright, the test is complete and we got an upload speed of about 74 Mbps. Okay, so we now have a clear idea of the performance.
170 Mbps download, and 74 Mbps upload. Let's head back to the VPN application. After coming back, let's see. We have Manila, Philippines, but let's check out the US servers instead. I'll search for USA here. Let's check the United States servers. As you can see, there are actually a lot of USA servers available. Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Las Vegas, and many more. So let's do one thing. Let's select Los Angeles and give it a try. A rating prompt popped up. I'll close it and do it later since I'm making a video right now. Okay, so let's go back to the browser and see what kind of IP we are getting for this connection. We've been assigned a Los Angeles IP, and this one looks much better. The anonymity score here is at a solid 90%, which is in a remarkable position. Okay, everything looks great with this IP. However, please note that it is identified as a data center IP. You guys should take note of that. Okay, so let's run a speed test for this IP and see what kind of results we get. But I'll say it again.
We have about 5 or 6 more videos coming up regarding this VPN, so please stay tuned. We are going to do an in-depth review and guide you through every single option, step by step. Our goal is to cover everything so thoroughly that you won't need to watch any other videos about this VPN. You'll find all the perfect, detailed information right here on our channel. Right now, we are testing the US server. The IP quality is actually very good. Before connecting, it did show that the ping would be quite high, and we are indeed experiencing high latency here. However, when we look at the actual bandwidth, the download speed is sitting at a very moderate and stable 63 megabits per second. The upload speed is incredibly impressive, pushing well past 100 megabits per second and reaching around 150 megabits per second. So, despite the high ping, the speeds are great, making this server totally acceptable for most tasks. Alright, let's disconnect from the US and try another region. Let's go ahead and connect to a server in Ukraine. As you can see, the ping for Ukraine is also quite high. Let's refresh the Hoover.net page to check our IP details and anonymity. We can see that the security score is at a moderate 70%. The IP is correctly showing as Kyiv, Ukraine, but the DNS is routing through the Netherlands. This clearly indicates that we are using a data camp or data center IP address. Now let's run a quick speed test for this Ukraine data center IP. As you can see, the speed isn't climbing very fast at the beginning. It's hovering around the 12 to 16 megabits per second mark. We'll see how high it goes. But honestly, we don't always need every single country listed in a VPN. It makes more sense to search for and test the countries that we actually use on a daily basis. Based on our work requirements, we usually stick to specific regions. A lot of users might never actually need a server in Kyiv. The most commonly required locations are typically the US, Canada, and Singapore. So let's search for a Singapore server instead. As we connect to Singapore, just take a look at the latency. The ping here is super low and highly optimized. This looks absolutely fantastic. If we take a closer look at the IP details here, you can see that the Internet Service Provider, or ISP, is Cogent Communications, and the server is located in Singapore. I've noticed that many VPN services tend to route their IP addresses through Cogent Communications. Additionally, if you look at our disguise score, the anonymity level is sitting at an impressive 90%. This indicates a highly secure and excellent IP address. Now, let's run a quick speed test to check its real-time performance. Since this video is getting a bit long, I'll wrap it up shortly after this test. However, I am planning to create a fully dedicated speed test video soon, where we will test the performance of servers across several major countries. If you want to keep up with these continuous, episodic VPN-related guides, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, drop a like, and stay tuned. Alright, the results are coming in, and as you can see, the download speed is quite impressive, stabilizing perfectly at 140 Mbps. The upload speed is also climbing now. It's performing very well and finishing up closely around 59 to 60 Mbps. So viewers, that is all for today. I will try to bring you even more detailed insights in our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, take care, and goodbye.